Am I the a-hole for getting an apartment and not telling my husband I'm moving out? This is a throwaway account so he doesn't find it. We've been married for a year and a half. Before we got married he caught me texting my ex. I immediately cut ties with my ex, but since then my husband is obsessed with my ex. For 2 years, he says things like, "Why don't you call your ex and see if he will come help you? Maybe your ex will take you back since you won't take the trash out." I get it, I broke his trust and I deserve the treatment he has been giving me. In the last 6 months, he has gotten so much worse. He has threatened to call the cops and have me arrested because I pushed him back after throwing items that belonged to my children and said I assaulted him. I know what I did was wrong. I have spent over 2 years dealing with it and trying to make it up for being unfaithful. At what point is enough though? Do I deserve to be belittled in front of my kids? Do I deserve to be told that I'm the reason I can't hang out with my friends because they may allow me to go be with another man? I have lost all my individualism because I was texting my ex only a couple months after we broke up and I still getting items from his house. I know I'm the a-hole when it comes to the beginning and texting my ex, but after 2 years if there is still no trust, should I stay or go? I started looking for an apartment and got one first try. Won't be ready for another month and at which time I need to pay rent and security deposit, so I've been putting all my money aside to pay for it. I asked my husband 3 weeks ago why he married me. He responded with repeating the question and asking me, which I had written down so I could hand it to him. I said I asked first, in which he replied, "Because I love you." I said, "But why?" Nothing. He stopped talking about it and nagged me for not taking the trash out after making dinner and doing dishes. I feel more like a slave than a spouse most days. I finally gave him the piece of paper with the reasons I married him, which most of those are now the reason I want to divorce him. I don't feel safe or confident in sharing anything with him because he tells his friends. Like, I told him I tried but stuff once because it was a conversation and I said I don't want to ever do it again, but because I did it. I was able to find out a medical thing I was having and had surgery. About a month later we were in the bar and he told his friends and I was the butt of the joke all night. I mentioned it to him and how it made me feel and said that I deserved it because I was talking to my ex behind his back. Every once in a while it is brought up. Even for my birthday last year I got a butt plug as a joke. He never responded to the paper. He read it and said thanks. It has been 3 days, and I am boiling inside because even after being vulnerable and allowing myself to let him know, he still, aside from saying, "I love you," have any reason why to be married to me. Love isn't enough at this point. I'm done being his punching bag and him always saying I deserve it after 2 years. Should I tell him I'm moving out in a month? Or just tell him after I get the keys? Am I the a-hole? Edit. I have known my husband for 6 years prior to being married. I was talking to my ex about getting items from his house, how the phone bill was going to work, getting the utilities out of my name, getting the lease out of my name. My husband asked me to not talk to him and I was, so I lied about being in communication with him. He thought my friend was talking to him for me. I was not dating my husband before I moved out. My ex and I had been broken up but living together for 3 months prior to me leaving also. Update. I want to start off by saying I did not have an emotional affair, sexual affair or any kind of affair with my ex after moving out. Just finalizing all the breakup stuff from living together. Here we are, a little over a month and I've been in my apartment for almost a month now. It got harder to continue biting my tongue, knowing I was going to be leaving. It wasn't supposed to be ready till beginning of November, but they finished it earlier. The week before I got the keys, we had a blowout over getting fast food for our hungry children after a sporting event. They got their food and went home. His daughter had went back to her mother and I have my children more than he does. By about 17 days a month, that the following weekday he took the day off without my knowledge and brought home an old car that he just had to buy. He wasn't home when we had gotten home, he was at the bar and I was stunned he went without me and when I have my children. His thing was always we never go to the bar without each other. Apparently it was only me not allowed to go without him. We got into an argument over how he couldn't buy fast food for our kids, but he has no problem going out and buying a car without consulting me. How he had went to the bar and if I had done that I would have gotten in trouble by him and consequences to me going. He went on telling me how it is different because I have responsibilities and his doesn't live with us. So I said I'm leaving, I can't handle this anymore, and how it is okay for you to do A, B, C and D, but I can't go anywhere. I don't think he thought I was serious even after bringing home boxes and having my children pack their stuff. I pulled into the driveway with 7 people, and a U-Haul, and we loaded all of my belongings and my children's and I moved. He helped pack it up, but didn't come over to my new place until he decided to surrender our dog to me as he doesn't have time for him. We agreed to continue to date. We went out for my birthday, but I said I wanted to take separate vehicles. He wasn't happy about that, but I'm glad I did. One of my friends came and all his did. They wouldn't talk to me, acknowledge me, and they did a birthday shot and wished me a happy birthday while I was in the bathroom and didn't even have an extra for me. So, I left with my GF and her husband. I didn't say bye to anyone and a fight ended up breaking out because I didn't say bye to my friends and said bye to a few others. My husband accused me of meeting up with another man because I was definitely not going to his place. When I explained to him how I was treated, including how he treated me, he responded with, "Nobody knew how to act about our situation." I asked him if he told them the truth about how I moved out because of the way he treated myself, my children, and that I had enough of trying to talk to you and you not taking accountability for anything. He said if I acted like the other wives and be seen and not heard, that maybe they would have talked to me. PSA: if you are married to someone who doesn't allow you to be yourself, leave. We've been amicable, agreed on what he is keeping and what I am keeping. He just wanted us off his health insurance. I've been better, more relaxed, and my children are happier that I am more confident in my position at work that I had been so doubtful on since I was promoted. I haven't felt like I'm in survival mode anymore. I'm living again, broke because starting over and buying things over again has really sucked. I've been reconnecting with friends that I hadn't seen or spoken to since we married. I'm crocheting, reading, having conversations with my children that they didn't feel comfortable talking about when we lived with him. I found me again. The few interactions we have had, he accuses me of leaving for another man. He has driven by my new place and I have it on surveillance in case he wants to be a jerk. A friend of mine that I've known since elementary school asked me what we had in common and what made me want to marry him. The more I sat there and thought, because I couldn't think of anything other than my family thought this is what I needed and whom I needed to marry and be with. He's been at the bar almost daily because I'll get text messages from people who see him or I'll get drunk texts from him trying to start an argument. I spoke with his ex-wife because I was wondering how his child is doing with everything going on. She expressed that they are happier that they aren't forced to spend more time with their dad anymore. She said the situation sucks and she wished he had changed from when they were married. I asked her what she meant. She proceeded to tell me that her children were never good enough and he nitpicked them. She said she couldn't chew gum because there would be consequences if she did. He accused her of having an affair with every person she came in contact with. I just sat there, in awe. She asked how my children were doing with the change, and I expressed their change in behavior and the activities they loved doing. They are doing them again unapologetically. It was refreshing to know that 10 years ago she made the same decision I had made today. I can't wait until the divorce is final and I'm free. I'll live paycheck to paycheck before I would ever go back.